The pick is in.
With the number 16 pick, the Arizona Cardinals select Walter Nolen, defensive lineman from Ole Miss, presented by LinkedIn. Here to talk about it with me, it's Alex Clancy, the host over at On Cardinals. And Alex, felt like the Cardinals going to go on in a bunch of different directions with this pick. They decide to go with Walter Nolen, a very deep defensive line class. Walter Nolen got a lot of buzz, especially over the last few days before the draft began. How are you feeling about the pick?
You feel solid. I mean, the Cardinals had a couple of needs. Any one that they would have chosen, you got to be happy with. And they're making an off-season weakness into a bona fide strength going into 2025, and you can't be mad at it.
Not at all. And now you have Arizona adding a very talented player to that defense. What does Walter Nolen bring to that defense? What are some strengths that intrigue you about him in this defense, and how can he help be an immediate impact player?
He brings some twitch. You know, you've got Dalvin Tomlinson as a run stuffer. You've got Calais Campbell who's done everything for 15 plus years. You got Darius Robinson who's kind of TBD still after being out for the majority of his rookie season. You've got Dante Stills, a former 6th-round pick who's kind of led the charge in the interior defensive line, and that kind of tells you the state of the defensive line for the Arizona Cardinals over the last couple seasons. So he brings some youth burst in the interior to be able to collapse the pocket, allow the edge to do their job, and all in all, if the dude can keep his head on straight, and I think he'll have no problem doing with the ecosystem Jonathan Gannon and Nick Rallis on the defense have instilled since coming over at the end of the 2022 season, he's going to be in a really, really good spot to learn, grow, and hopefully pop.
Was this the pick you would have made if you were Arizona? Does this make sense to you, or was there another player or two that you liked over Walter Nolen?
So I'll take the latter first. Does it make sense? Yes. Was it the person I would have taken? No. I'm a huge offensive line guy. If you don't protect Kyler Murray, if you don't protect the quarterback, none of it's going to work. I would have gone corner second with Johnny Barron and Will Johnson just falling into their lap at 16 to shore up the secondary. But if you add some beef and some youth, I don't know how you can be mad at it. So I'm not, screaming from the mountaintops like I did when Steve Keim traded for Hollywood Brown with a first-round pick that turned into an all-world center and drafted a tight end in the second round a couple years ago. This is a far cry from that.
And for continuing coverage of the Arizona Cardinals, subscribe to Locked On Cardinals wherever you get your podcasts. And for more on Walter Nolen, let's hear from Locked On SEC, who spent a lot of time covering Walter Nolen up close.
Walter Nolen could be the next Aaron Donald. What's up, everybody? Chris Gordy here from Locked On SEC. And any team that drafts Walter Nolen out of Ole Miss is getting an absolute stud. A guy who was just scratching the surface on what he could be in college, spent 2 seasons at Texas A&M before spending last season at Ole Miss in Oxford. 4 sacks in 23 with the Aggies, up that to 6.5 last season with Ole Miss. He's big, he's strong, he's physical. He's compared himself to Aaron Donald. Now, Donald had 4 years at Pitt before coming out. Nolen coming out just 3 years of college. But at 21 years old, he'll plug in immediately on the interior of a team's defensive line, and coaches are going to love his physicality. To me, the sky is the limit for Walter Nolen at the next level. Don't be surprised if he ends up being a finalist for Defensive Rookie of the Year following next season. For more on the SEC, remember to subscribe to Locked On SEC wherever you get your podcasts.